So today I want to talk about questions liberals can't answer. One thing that a lot of Americans have a problem with is that a lot of people are politically engaged and some are not. And more than that, the people who are not politically engaged, they're not the I'm not going to say that they're stupid, because there's a lot of people who don't pay attention to politics and they are very smart. But what I want to focus here today is the average American who does not pay attention to politics, yet they're conservative and don't understand questions from a more advanced question. For example, let's say you know politics really well and you know the right questions to ask, and you know you know what you're talking about. But a lot of people in America, they don't know what you're talking about when you say the answers to these questions that are more advanced. I hope that makes sense. But if you don't know the questions to ask, how can you know the answer, or how can you understand the answer? So anyway, this lady, she obviously, this video I'm about to comment on, she obviously knows what she's talking about, but she makes it really confusing for people who don't know, the average American who are not engaged in politics. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to sort of comment on what she's saying. I'm going to talk as a conservative, as a Republican, sort of, to this woman's comments about liberals. So I'm going to go ahead and click play and hear what she has to say, and pause it whenever I have a question about something. Questions liberals can't answer. All right.
Hi, I'm Lana with Red Ice. It's true, you just can't argue with a leftist. All the evidence on the planet won't be enough because they live in an alt universe. Liberals are very bad at debating because they never do it. Because they only talk to other self-affirming, emotional stroking liberals and have had zero opposition to challenge them. They are
For people who are not watching the news and political arguments, she's mainly talking about, if you watch the videos about Antifa, anti-fascists, the protests, there's a lot of fighting, a lot of arguments that are very confrontational. There's protests and there's anti-protesters. These are the people who she's talking about. And also, when a conservative like Ben Shapiro goes to a college and there's people who protest and speak out while he is making a speech. It's great to have your First Amendment and, freedom of speech, freedom of protest, freedom of expression, freedom of, paparazzi, whatever they are. There's a bunch of First Amendment there. I think there's 5 editions in the First Amendment. But basically, she's talking about the people who are not willing to have a conversation, the people who only want to yell and scream when someone says something that they disagree with.
With their pants down at the most basic questions. But people like myself are very comfortable arguing with opponents. We've had a lot of practice to sharpen our arguments, and we don't crumble when people call us bad words. We deal with outrageous, never-seen-before censorship, banning, discrimination, defamation, and we're still here. As we toughen up, they become even weaker. Here are questions liberals cannot answer. 1. Gotta start with this one. If you're so pro-mass non-European immigration, why do you live in a white neighborhood? They may say, well, this town has plenty of diversity. Yeah, down there, not where you live, up here. Why aren't you living in an immigrant refugee part of town? 2. What percentage of America can be white? 60%, 40, 15, 2%? At what point is it acceptable? 3. At what point is it okay to have a border and immigration laws? 4. What percentage of the population...
Oh, damn, she went over so much stuff there within just 3 points. One other thing, the people on the right, Republicans, conservatives, we always like to say that the people on the left who are pushing these policies of no borders, there is no such thing as an illegal immigrant. America was founded on immigrants. People who are conservative really like to say that the people who are pushing this issue are the ones who are higher up, the people who have money, the people who are in gated communities, who do not have to deal with the, what's the word I'm looking for? The, who don't have to deal with the issues of people coming into a country without being properly documented. You look over in Europe, in France or Paris. That's a great example. They have a huge issue with immigration, but forget about that. Let's stick with this video. We have in this country, America, certain states that allow illegals to come in, and the news does not properly document exactly the problems that are happening. This is really hard because there's a lot of stuff in Europe where people from other countries are coming over, and they're ruining the society and the culture, and they're just ruining the towns and cities that they're in. But it's not being properly, the news is not documenting and publicizing the things that are going on. So anyway, what she's talking about right now is how people in gated communities, the people who are pushing this agenda, the leftist agenda, for a more socialized economy, or what's the term they're using right now? Going to pause. Democratic socialism is what it's called. People in these gated communities who are not first-handedly experiencing these conflicts are pushing this agenda for a democratic socialism, and yet they are not, like I said a couple seconds ago, they're not experiencing it firsthand. Anyway, I'm going to press play.
Do whites have to be before it's morally acceptable? 3. At what point is it okay to have a border and immigration laws? 4. What percentage of the population do whites have to be before it's morally acceptable for them to be proud of their ancestors, their heritage? At what point can they advocate for their people with unions, orgs, and lobbyists, just like every other group? 5. When is it okay for a white guy to say, I am a proud, straight, white male? When is it okay for them?
The answer to that is never. That was a joke, by the way. From a conservative and Republican point of view, when is it okay to be a straight white male? From from the leftist side, it is only okay if you are a male feminist. It is only okay if you denounce and repent and feel sorry, and you basically just diss on your white Caucasian skin, and you say, I'm so sorry that I have white privilege. And even at that point, when you acknowledge, or you say that you acknowledge that you are white and that you have privileges, even at that point, you are accepting your role that you are less than someone else, when the whole goal should be that you are equal to everyone. Everyone has privileges. Every race, every gender, everyone has privilege in different areas in life. But right now we're solely discriminating against the white straight males because the Democrats want votes. They need an enemy. If there is no enemy, there is no conflict. If there's no conflict, then you're basically losing votes. So basically what the Democratic Party wants to do is they want to take the marginalized. They want to take the people who are most discriminated in America, the very few, and bring them all together and get their votes. Now, I'm not meaning this in any racist way, but black people and white people. White people are predominantly the most race in America right now, currently. Not in the future, because according to statistics, white people are going to be the minority soon. But currently, black people are the minority. Asian people, minority. Mexican people, minority. But what the Democrats do is they get the minority, they make the minority feel like they are discriminated against, and then they do everything in their power to make you vote for them. And once they have your vote, they barely keep you in their hindsight. Once they have your vote, they sort of throw you in the back, and then they go for the next people who are marginalized, the minority of the people. Today, in this day and age, it's the transgenders. Right now, the Democratic Party is going after transgenders. It used to be feminists. No, way back. It used to be black people. The Democratic Party actually were the ones who were against, or who were for slavery back in the past. The Democratic Party was, and then they switched their party, and then they wanted the black vote because they knew that would get them elected. So this is all history. So anyway, they got the black vote, and then they went into feminism. They got the feminist vote, and there's another one in there. The gays, the lesbians, they got their vote, and now they're going for the transgenders. They're going after the minorities, and they're slowly getting their votes, and they're making people feel like they are the ones being segregated now, and they are the ones being. Shoot, I just said it a couple seconds ago. Let's just say discriminated. they want to make you feel like you're the one being discriminated against because you're the minority. So that's basically that's what they're doing to get their votes right now. And once they have your vote, they throw you in the back. So anyway, let's carry on with this video.
To be loud and proud. 6. What is so wrong when European women want to have white children who look like them? Instead of, ooh, your mixed race baby is so cute. How about, ooh, your little blonde blue-eyed baby is so adorable and unique. 7.
I don't know anyone who's ever said that. Ever. I gotta disagree with this woman here. Like, not once have I ever heard anyone in America judge me on the color of my baby. Or even a friend of mine or anyone who comes from Europe and they're judging them on the color of their child. I've never seen that whatsoever.
For legal immigration alone, 1 million plus a year come to America. That's like importing a large city every year.
I have to agree with this. Importing 1 million people to America every year. Wow. She goes on to talk about this a little bit more, but me personally, I disagree with this current issue of bringing immigrants into our country. I don't know much about this topic. This is one of the reasons why I made this video, is because most Americans don't know much about these topics, and which is exactly why I'm commenting on this right now. Because I don't know much about this topic, but I do know for a fact that a few hundred years ago, the way that the world used to be, when someone invaded your country, you got to take the resources, you got the spoils of war. And that was when our world was less populated. Right now, my concern is our world is almost to the point where we cannot grow enough food to sustain the world's population. I'm not saying our world is overpopulated by people. The fact remains is that we can only grow so much food at once on this planet. And by us sending people into our country, it sounds selfish, but I'm just speaking about the facts. Eventually, especially with the growth rate of our world and the population growth of our world, we are not going to be able to support our people. Because, I mean, the fact is that the world can only grow so much food at one point. And I would rather be the country that thinks ahead and is able to support our country and sustain ourselves. Sounds selfish again, but, someone has to survive. Sounds horrible, but it's true. And I would rather it be my country, rather than importing 1 million people every single year until we cannot sustain ourselves and we go into chaos. It's a fact. Eventually, one day, our world won't be able to support our people, or support humanity, and we're going to go into chaos. And I just hope that we grow up and educate ourselves enough before then.
How many non-European people need to be in the country before it's okay to say, that's enough? 8. You liberals claim to be environmentalists, and yet you are not aware of the horrible environmental consequences of mass migration, not to mention the problem of limited resources and an overburdened physical infrastructure.
Oh, looks like she touched on it.
Yeah, it used to be common knowledge among you. But But we have so much and we waste so much. So the solution is to import the entire third world so they too can have and waste much and enjoy a first world lifestyle. There used to be a time not long ago when lefties complained about overpopulation.
Damn, she almost commented exactly what I was talking about.
People were having babies, that is. But now they love huge populations of non-Europeans making 8 kids each. So, libs, you A-okay with Muhammad up in Minnesota and his 8 wives and 25 kids living off of welfare paid for by mostly white people? Give them all your money then, stay out of mine. 9. Speaking of refugees, did you know there are people getting rich off the importing fake refugee business? 10. According to international law,
Come on, lady. What's your name? I forgot about her name, but seriously? 9? You barely touch on that topic? Don't you think that's a huge topic to talk about?
9. Speaking of refugees, did you know there are people getting rich off the importing fake refugee business? 10.
Seriously? You just barely talk about it. That's a huge thing that you should maybe give us some more information on. Or maybe it's just false. How do we know?
According to international law, refugees are supposed to go to the country nearest to them. So why isn't Israel and rich Gulf countries taking in any refugees? Why must they be flown at our expense way to Sweden, Australia, and North America?
Well, if you've noticed, all those places that you talked about are highly liberal, highly leftist. Unfortunately, a lot of America is going that way. But North America, she's mainly talking about Canada. Canada.
Evan, about those refugees, do you even know how many are actually fleeing from catastrophic conditions and not just their own poverty? Like this much. I mean, come on, all those
This much? Thanks for the information. Thanks for the statistics. Thanks a lot, lady. You did a horrible job on that one.
Mexicans seeking asylum. My white sister lives in Mexico. Plenty of space and options there. White liberals will say, well, it's okay if people are fleeing poverty. We have to give them a chance at a better life to become surgeons, inventors, and rocket scientists in European nations. Says who? Are you saying they can't do it without white people? That they need...
That's stupid. You're stupid, lady. Certain countries just don't have the resources, educational-wise or technology-wise, to teach them. Come on.
Us to succeed? Well, what's wrong with their people? That's supremacist. 12.
How about economic development? Oh. Did you ever think about people in Africa that are literally eating, dirt cookies? Literally, anyone who's listening to this or who has listened to this far, look up dirt cookies in Africa. Africans are literally eating dirt cookies. Dirt. They are eating dirt to fill up their stomach. And you want those people to go and become rocket scientists? The people who can barely afford, not even afford to eat. And you want them to go get an education. Dumbass.
You want to help people? Why don't you go help them in their country? But you all never care to help European nations when they're in need.
And here's another issue. If we were to go to other countries, and America does, we do go to other countries, a lot of countries, and help them sustain their lives. But eventually, we need to stop looking at other countries, and we need to fix our own shit in our own country. Yeah, I know it's a defensive stance. You know, you go to other countries, you help them out so that it protects our country. But why don't you go to their country? We can only spend so much resources. We can only do so much. And right now, we're doing way more than we should. In my opinion, we should draw back. We should strengthen our own country and work our way out. But that's just me.
Why is that? Or are you saying they're never in need? And why is that? 13. To all those filthy rich celebrities making anti-white trash films, why aren't you taking in any refugees into your house surrounded by
She already talked about this. Gated communities.
a wall in an upscale, gated community? 14.
See?
Who made you the morality police, judging on your self-righteous high horse, pretending to be God, saying what is morally right and wrong? I will answer that one for you. No one. You have zero moral authority. Remember, boys and girls, there is nothing wrong with Europeans loving and preferring European people and stopping the wave of mass immigration and fake refugees into their country. No other people would put up with this. And if your parents never
Have you been to Paris, France?
told you, it is okay, more than okay, it is wonderful
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot about Germany.
to be white every moment of every day. Don't hear it otherwise.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a time when virtually all social media is controlled by what seems like a
And we're done. I'm sorry this took so long, but there was a lot to talk about, and I really tried to make it simple. I know I went off on a little tangent and I forgot the parts that I was talking about, but that's what happens when you don't have a script. I basically talk off the, See, I don't even know what I want to say next. But regardless, I don't have a script. I don't pre-write my stuff. I talk about how I'm feeling and what I'm talking about, which is what most people do. So, I hope this was helpful. Have a great night.